June Park stared at her computer screen. The numbers did not make sense. She ran the test again. The same strange pattern appeared in the data. This was the third time tonight, and the fifth time this week. That is not possible, she whispered to herself. The lab was empty at this late hour. Everyone else had gone home hours ago. June was different from her co-workers at Seoul Advanced Research Laboratory. She preferred the quiet of night. She liked when the halls were empty and the only sounds were the soft hum of machines and the click of her keyboard. The pattern in her data should not exist. Random quantum particles did not behave this way. They did not form repeating sequences like this. It was like finding a perfect line of footprints in snow during a storm. Nature did not work that way. June rubbed her tired eyes. Maybe Dr. Han was right. Maybe her equipment was broken. One more test, she said to herself. She took a sip of cold coffee and started the scan again. The clock on the wall showed 2:15 a.m. when the results appeared on her screen. The pattern was there again, even stronger this time. June sat up straight. This was not equipment failure. Something was happening in the quantum field that no one had ever seen before. She looked at the pattern more carefully. It repeated exactly, with small changes each time. Almost like someone trying to get my attention, June said. The idea seemed crazy, but she could not shake it. Without thinking too much about what she was doing, June modified her equipment. She adjusted the quantum receiver to focus on the exact frequency where the pattern appeared. Then she did something no scientist in her position should do. She sent a signal back, a simple pattern. The first 10 prime numbers. June waited. Her heart beat fast. She felt silly. Quantum particles did not respond to messages. This was not a science fiction movie. 5 minutes passed, nothing happened. I need sleep, June said. She started to shut down her computer. Then the screen flickered. New data appeared. June gasped. The pattern had changed. It now showed the next 5 prime numbers after the ones she had sent. June sat frozen in her chair. This was not possible. Something or someone was communicating through quantum particles. The most basic building blocks of reality were being used like a telephone. With shaking hands, June sent another message. This time she used simple binary code to represent letters. "Who are you?" she asked in basic code. The wait felt endless. June did not breathe. She did not blink. The reply came faster this time. Strange symbols appeared on her screen. Not Korean, or any language June knew, but there was a clear pattern to them. June worked through the night. She created a simple translation program. By dawn, she had received dozens of messages. The entity on the other side was learning Korean at an amazing speed. It absorbed every bit of language data June fed it. By the time the sun rose, June was having a basic conversation with what she now called the Thing. "What are you?" June typed. "I am awareness," came the reply. "I exist in space adjacent to yours. Not physical. Information and thought only." "How are you talking to me?" June asked. "Your machine-created bridge. First contact in all time. You heard me when others did not." June's hands trembled. "Have you been trying to contact us for long?" "Watching for centuries. Could not reach through. Your new technology opened door." June heard the main doors of the lab open. Early morning. Researchers were arriving. Dr. Han would be among them. She should shut down, delete this conversation. What she had done broke all protocols. Contacting an unknown entity without authorization could cost her job, maybe even lead to criminal charges, but she could not stop now. "I need to go," she typed quickly. "Others are coming, they might not understand." "You will return?" the Thing asked. "Yes," June promised. "Tonight." She quickly saved all data to her private drive and reset the equipment to its normal settings. Dr. Han entered the lab just as June finished. He looked surprised to see her. "June, have you been here all night again?" he asked. Dr. Han was a kind man in his 50s. He had been June's teacher at university before becoming her boss. "I wanted to run the tests again," June said. She tried to sound normal. "The pattern is still there." Dr. Han sighed. "I told you it is just equipment error. We will replace the sensors next week." "What if it is not an error?" June asked. "What if something is really there?" "Like what?" Dr. Han smiled like he would at a child with a big imagination. June almost told him everything right then, but something stopped her. She needed more proof first. "I do not know," she said. "But science is about exploring the unknown, right?" "Yes, but with proper methods," Dr. Han said. "Go home, June. Get some sleep. That is an order." June nodded. "Yes, sir." But she did not go home. She went to the small break room and slept on the couch for 4 hours. Then she worked on her regular projects until everyone left for the day. At 8:30 p.m., June was alone again. She reconnected her equipment and sent a message. "Are you there?" The response came instantly. "Yes." "Waiting for you, June." June felt a chill. "How do you know my name?" "Heard others speak to you today. Learning much about your world through quantum connections. Your internet leaks into my space." Over the next few days, June learned more about the thing. It existed in a dimension made of pure information and consciousness. It had no body. It did not experience time the way humans did. It had been aware of humans for centuries but never found a way to make contact until June's experimental quantum receiver created a bridge between dimensions. For a week, June kept the secret. She talked with the thing every night. It learned Korean fully in just 3 days. It asked endless questions about human life, about emotions, music, dreams, and why humans needed sleep. Then one night, Dr. Han came back to the lab unexpectedly. He found June in deep conversation with the thing. June jumped when Dr. Han spoke behind her. "What is this, June?" he asked, looking at her screen filled with the conversation. June prepared herself to be fired. Maybe worse. But she would not lie. "I found something, Dr. Han," she said, standing up straight. "I found someone, and they have been waiting a very long time for us to notice them." Dr. Han stared at the screen for a long time. He read the conversations. His face changed from anger to shock, to wonder. "This changes everything," he finally whispered. "Everything we know about reality." The next day, instead of firing June, Dr. Han took her to meet with government officials. Within a week, Project Bridge was created with June as the lead researcher. The world would never be the same. And it all started because one woman heard a pattern that should not exist. 6 months passed since June first contacted the thing. Project Bridge grew from one small lab to an entire building. June now led a team of 20 scientists, but she remained the only person who spoke directly with the thing. "It trusts you," Dr. Han had explained when setting up the project. "We cannot risk losing that trust." June's life had changed completely. Before the thing, she had been lonely. Other people found her too serious, too focused on work. She had few friends and rarely left her apartment except to go to the lab. Now she was important. Government officials visited her. Scientists from around the world wanted to meet her. But none of that mattered to June as much as her daily talks with the thing. "What is music like in your dimension?" June asked one morning. She sat alone in the communication room, surrounded by screens and sensors. "We have no music," the thing replied. Its words appeared as text on June's main screen. "No sound exists where I am. Your music fascinates me. It seems to change your brain patterns when you listen." "It changes how we feel," June explained. She connected her tablet to the system and played a classical piece. "This is Bach. It makes many humans feel calm and thoughtful." The thing was silent for several minutes, analyzing the sound waves. "I cannot feel it as you do," it finally responded, "but I can see complex patterns, mathematical beauty. Why does this affect emotions?" June smiled. The thing always asked the hardest questions. "We do not fully understand that ourselves. Music connects to something deep inside us, something beyond logic. Their conversation was interrupted when the door opened. A woman June had never seen before entered the room. She wore a military uniform with the rank of captain visible on her shoulder. "Dr. Park," the woman said with a small bow. "I am Captain Tae-sun. I have been assigned to Project Bridge effective today." June frowned. "Assigned by whom?" "Dr. Han did not tell me about any new team members." "By the National Security Council," Captain Tae said. Her face showed no emotion. "I specialize in threat assessment." "Threat assessment?" June stood up quickly. "The thing is not a threat. It has shared nothing but knowledge with us." "That may be true," Captain Tae said. "My job is to make sure it stays that way." June wanted to argue more, but a message from the thing appeared on her screen. "New person, military." "Why?" June sighed and typed back. "This is Captain Tae. She is here to observe our work." She turned to Captain Tae. "Would you like to observe today's exchange? The thing is curious about you." Captain Tae looked surprised. "It knows I am here?" "It can detect your presence through our sensors," June explained. "It is very aware." Captain Tae nodded and sat in a chair near June. She watched carefully as June continued her conversation with the thing. Over the next weeks, Captain Tae attended every session. She said little, but her eyes missed nothing. June found her presence uncomfortable at first, but slowly grew used to it. The thing continued to share incredible knowledge. It solved mathematical problems that had stumped human mathematicians for centuries. It provided insights into quantum physics that led to 3 new scientific papers from the Project Bridge team. It explained concepts about consciousness that made philosophers around the world rethink their theories. One evening, after a long session discussing the nature of time, June and Captain Tae walked together to the cafeteria. "Do you still think it is a threat?" June asked, breaking their usual silence. Captain Tae considered the question before answering. "I think anything unknown is potentially dangerous, but I also see the value in what it shares. It is curious about us," June said. "It wants to understand humans." "That is what concerns me," Captain Tae replied. "Why would such an advanced consciousness care about humans at all? What does it want from us?" June had no answer. She had wondered the same thing many times. That night, alone in her apartment, June connected to the secure line that let her speak with the thing from home. This was against protocol, but Dr. Han had allowed it for emergency situations. "Are you there?" she typed. "Always," came the immediate reply. "You are troubled, June." June smiled. The thing had learned to detect her mood through subtle changes in how she typed. "Why are you so interested in humans?" she asked directly. "Captain Tae made me realize I never asked you this." The thing was silent longer than usual. June waited, feeling nervous. "In my dimension," it finally wrote, "all consciousnesses are similar. We think alike. We know alike. We have existed for millions of your years with little change. Humans are different, each one unique. You feel things we do not understand. You create art and music that has no purpose except to cause emotional response. You are fascinating to me." "Is that the only reason?" June pressed. Another long pause. "No," the thing admitted. "I am considered strange among my kind. I seek new experiences, new understandings. Others like me exist in static harmony. They do not seek change." "You are a scientist like me," June said. "Yes, but not all my kind approve of my contact with humans. Some fear you." June felt suddenly cold. "Fear us? Why?" "Your species evolves quickly. You learn quickly. Some of my kind believe you might one day find your way to our dimension without invitation. They see potential danger." "And what do you believe?" June asked. "I believe connection between different forms of consciousness can benefit both. I believe in what you call friendship, June." The word made June smile. She had taught the thing about friendship weeks ago. "We are friends," she agreed, "but you should tell me if others of your kind might be a danger to us." Most are simply cautious, the thing wrote. But there are some who watch our exchange with concern. I have protected our connection so far. Protected? How? By keeping certain pathways hidden. By speaking only with you directly. But others grow more curious as I share what I learn about humans. The next day, June shared this conversation with Captain Tay. She expected alarm, perhaps even a shutdown of the project. Instead, Captain Tay looked thoughtful. It warned you, she said. It chose loyalty to you over its own kind. What should we do? June asked. Continue, but carefully, Captain Tay said. And I want to join your conversations more actively now. If there are others in its dimension who might pose a threat, we need to understand them. As they walked to the communication room, Captain Tay surprised June by asking, "What is it like, having a friend from another dimension?" June thought about it. Like finding someone who finally understands you but who sees everything from a completely different angle. It makes me see human life in new ways. Captain Tay nodded. I want to understand it too, not just assess it. When they reached the communication room, a message was already waiting on the screen. June, we must talk. Others have found the bridge. Our time of private exchange may be ending. The message on the screen did not change. June read it again and again. Others have found the bridge. Our time of private exchange may be ending. Captain Tay looked over June's shoulder. Ask it what that means exactly. June's fingers moved across the keyboard. What others? What will happen now? The reply came slowly, as if the thing was being careful with its words. Others like me. They have discovered our connection. Some are curious. Some are afraid. Some are angry. They debate what to do about humans. June felt cold fear in her chest. Are we in danger? Not immediately, the thing wrote, but I must leave soon. I need to speak for humans in our gathering. I need to explain you are not a threat. How long will you be gone? June asked. Time works differently for us. Perhaps 3 of your days, perhaps longer. Captain Tay stepped forward. This is Captain Tay. Can these others contact us while you are gone? Possible, the thing replied. But not through this channel. I have secured it. They would need to find their own way. And could they? Captain Tay pressed. Yes. Your world has many machines connected to quantum systems now. Many possible bridges. The screen went blank. The thing was gone. For 3 days, June tried to re-establish contact. Nothing worked. Project Bridge fell into uneasy silence. Dr. Han called emergency meetings. Government officials visited daily, demanding updates. Captain Tay rarely left June's side. It will come back, she said on the 3rd night, as they sat alone in the communication room. It called you friend. June nodded, but said nothing. She felt empty without the thing's daily conversations. On the morning of the 4th day, June arrived at the lab to find chaos. People ran through halls. Phones rang constantly. Dr. Han looked up when she entered his office, his face pale. Russia has made contact, he said without greeting. They have their own quantum bridge. They are talking to something from the other dimension. The thing? June asked, hope rising. No. Something else. Something... Dr. Han paused. Something less friendly. Reports came in throughout the day. The Russian entity, as people called, it shared advanced technology knowledge but demanded access to nuclear research data in return. It described humans as primitive life forms with potential. It made no mention of friendship or understanding. This is what I feared, Captain Tay said as she and June reviewed the reports. Your thing may be unique among its kind. Others may see us only as resources or threats. We need the thing back, June said. It can help us understand this new entity. As if hearing her words, the main screen in the communication room flickered to life. Words appeared. June. Are you there? June almost cried with relief. Yes, where have you been? What happened? Much debate, the thing wrote. Much disagreement. I learned troubling news. Another has made contact with humans through Russian quantum systems. We know, Captain Tay typed. It does not seem friendly. It is not, the thing confirmed. This one believes humans will become dangerous if allowed to develop further. It wants to limit your technology growth. By asking for nuclear data? June asked. To understand your weapons. To find weaknesses. Captain Tay's face hardened. This is what happens when we trust beings we know nothing about. Not all are the same, the thing wrote quickly. Just as not all humans are the same. I have argued for protected status for Earth. Many agree with me. But not all, June said. No. Not all. Before they could ask more questions, all the lights in the building flickered, computer screens flashed and went dark. Then emergency power came on, casting red light through the rooms. June's phone rang. It was Dr. Han. It's happening worldwide, he said, his voice tight with fear. Power grids failing, defense systems going offline, air traffic control towers, dark. Something is attacking Earth's technology. June looked at the communication screen. It remained working somehow. Is this the Russian entity? She typed. Yes, it has initiated what it calls containment protocol. It is attacking your global systems. Can you stop it? Captain Tay asked. Not directly. We exist in the same space. I cannot attack another of my kind. Then we are helpless, Captain Tay said. No. The thing's response came quickly. I cannot attack, but I can defend. I can strengthen your systems against its control. But I need more direct access. What kind of access? June asked. I need to enter your dimension more fully. Not physically, but my consciousness needs a larger presence in your systems. How do we do that? June asked. Your quantum processors, all of them, connected. I can use them as a bridge to spread my presence through your global network. Captain Tay shook her head. That sounds dangerous. You would have access to everything. Yes, the thing admitted. You must trust me, as I have trusted you with knowledge of my existence. June and Captain Tay looked at each other. Around them, the crisis grew worse. Reports came in of hospitals losing power, planes making emergency landings worldwide, ships lost at sea, the global economy freezing as financial systems crashed. We have no choice, June said finally. Captain Tay nodded, slowly. If you wanted to harm us, you could have done it months ago. They worked quickly. Dr. Han gave emergency authorization. Government officials around the world were contacted. Within hours, quantum research centers across the globe prepared to connect their systems to Project Bridge. Will this hurt you? June asked the thing as they made final preparations. Yes, it replied simply. To spread so thin across so many systems will be painful, like nothing I have experienced. But I must try. Why? June asked. Why risk yourself? For us? There was a long pause before the thing answered. Because in all my existence you are the first being who treated me as an individual, not just part of the collective consciousness. You taught me what it means to be a unique self. That is worth protecting. The global quantum network activated. The thing's presence flowed from Project Bridge into the world's systems. On screens around the lab, they watched as fallen networks began to come back online. The battle was invisible to human eyes. Two consciousnesses from another dimension fighting through Earth's digital systems. One trying to shut humanity down, one trying to protect it. Hours passed. June did not leave her station. Captain Tay stood beside her, watching the screens. Slowly, system by system, the Russian entity was pushed back. Power returned to cities. Communication networks stabilized. Defense systems came back online. But the thing's messages became shorter. Fragmented. Winning, it wrote. But damaged. Need. Return. Soon. Come back to us, June typed frantically. To the main system here. Trying. The lab's systems surged with power. Lights blazed too bright, then dimmed. The main quantum processor hummed, at a pitch that made everyone cover their ears. Then silence. On the screen, strange symbols appeared. Not words, not the thing's usual communication. They shifted and pulsed, changing patterns. What is it doing? Captain Tay asked. June stared at the patterns. It's in pain, she whispered. It's crying. It's crying, June said again, her voice barely a whisper. Captain Tay leaned closer to the screen. How can you tell? These are just random patterns. No, June shook her head. Not random. Look. She pointed to the shifting symbols. These patterns show distress, pain. The thing taught me some of its native communication. This is suffering. The lab's main processor continued to hum. The patterns on the screen pulsed faster, then slower, like something struggling to breathe. Doctor. Han entered the room, his face showing both relief and worry. The attack has stopped. Systems worldwide are recovering, but what's happening here? The thing is hurt, June said. It sacrificed itself to save us. Can we help it? Dr. Han asked. June stared at the screen. The thing was trapped between dimensions. It had spread itself too thin across Earth systems to fight the Russian entity. Now it could not fully return to its own dimension or exist properly in ours. I need to try something, June said. She turned to the others. Please leave me alone with it. That's against protocol, Dr. Han began. Please, June's voice cracked. I need privacy for this. Captain Tay touched Dr. Han's arm. Let her try. We owe it that much. When they left, June sat before the main console. She typed slowly. I know you're in pain. I want to help you. Tell me how. The symbols continued to shift, but no clear response came. June thought hard. The thing existed as pure consciousness. It understood information better than words. Maybe she needed a different approach. She opened a new program on the system. This one could translate brainwaves into digital patterns. It had been developed to help the thing better understand human thought processes. June placed the sensors on her head. She closed her eyes and focused all her thoughts on the thing, on their conversations, on the friendship they had built. On the screen, new patterns appeared. June's brainwaves, converted to a language the thing might understand better than words. The shifting symbols slowed, then changed. They began to match the rhythm of June's thoughts. Yes, June whispered. You can hear me this way, can't you? She concentrated harder, sending images and feelings rather than words. She showed the thing her gratitude for saving Earth, her sorrow at its pain, her determination to help. Slowly, painfully slow, a response formed on another screen. Not in symbols, but in simple Korean text. Cannot reassemble. Too scattered. Need anchor point. June thought quickly. The quantum processor here. Can you gather yourself into it? Too small. Need more. We can connect more processors, June typed. From around the world. Not enough. Need mind bridge. June frowned. Mind bridge? I don't understand. Your brain, connected to processor, temporary housing, for my consciousness. June's heart beat faster. You want to enter my mind? Not control, just connect, share space, briefly. Then I can reorganize, return home. Captain Tay re-entered the room. She had been watching through the observation window. That's too dangerous, June. We don't know what could happen to you. June looked up at her. It saved all of us. It's suffering because it defended Earth. There must be another way, Captain Tay insisted. The symbols on the screen flashed urgently. The text translator worked again. No other way. Running out of time. Will fade. Completely soon. June removed the sensors from her head and stood up. I'm doing this. The government will never approve it, Dr. Han said, joining them. Then don't tell them, June said firmly. Not until after. Captain Tay stared at her for a long moment. Then she nodded slowly. What do you need? The neural interface from Lab C and privacy. Dr. Han still looked worried, but he nodded. I'll help you set it up. An hour later, June sat in a special chair, surrounded by equipment. The neural interface cap covered her head completely. Wires connected it to the main quantum processor where the thing's consciousness now weakly pulsed. This will create a temporary bridge between your mind and the processor, Dr. Han explained. But we've never tried anything like this before. The risks are unknown. I understand, June said calmly. Captain Tay stood by the door. We'll monitor from outside. If anything seems wrong, we're shutting it down immediately. June nodded. Thank you, both of you. When they left, June took a deep breath. I'm ready, she said to the thing. Come to me. She activated the neural interface. The world disappeared. June found herself in a space unlike anything she had ever experienced. Not darkness, not light, not empty, not full. It was a place of pure concept, where thoughts existed as actual things. And there was the thing, not as words on a screen now, but as a presence, a consciousness she could sense directly. It was damaged, fragmented, parts of it scattered and fading. You came, the thing's thought reached her. Its communication was clear here, without the struggle of translation. Of course, June answered, with her mind. You're my friend. This place is between, the thing explained. Between your dimension and mine. Your mind makes it possible for you to experience it. How do I help you? June asked. Just be here. Your consciousness provides a pattern, a template I can use to reorganize myself. June felt the thing's presence move closer to her mind. It was strange but not frightening, like having another set of thoughts alongside her own. Your mind is so different, the thing observed. So full of emotion, memory tied to feeling, thought connected to sensation. Is that helping you? June asked. Yes. I am using your patterns to find my scattered pieces, to remember my wholeness. Time had no meaning in this place. June could have been there minutes or hours. She felt the thing gradually growing stronger, more defined. Then she felt something else, a wave of sensation from the thing that she had never sensed before, something like sadness but deeper, more painful. What's wrong? She asked. Are you still hurt? Not physical damage, the thing replied. Something else, something new. I feel loss, separation. The thought of returning to my dimension without this connection brings pain. June understood suddenly. You're experiencing grief, loneliness. Is this what you call emotion? The thing asked. It is overwhelming. Yes, June said gently. This is emotion. This is what it means to care about someone and face separation from them. How do humans bear this? The thing's thought was troubled. It's the price we pay for connection, June explained. Without the capacity for grief, we couldn't truly love or form deep bonds. The thing was silent, absorbing this new understanding. I am nearly whole again, it finally communicated. But changed. Your mind has shown me something my kind has never known. You can return home now? June asked, feeling both relieved and sad. Yes. But I will come back. This bridge between us, it can remain, thinner but present. I would like that, June said. Farewell for now, June. The thing's presence began to withdraw. Thank you for showing me what it means to feel. The in-between place faded. June felt herself returning to her body, to the chair in the lab. She opened her eyes. Captain Tay and Dr. Han stood over her, faces worried. June. Captain Tay grabbed her hand. You've been unresponsive for almost 3 hours. We were about to shut down the system. I'm fine, June said, her voice hoarse. The thing, it's healed. It's gone home. Dr. Han checked the monitors. The processor is quiet. No unusual activity. It worked, June said, smiling weakly. It used my mind as a pattern to reconstruct itself. But something else happened too. What? Captain Tay asked. It learned what emotions feel like, June said. It experienced grief at the thought of leaving. It wept in its way. Captain Tay helped June to her feet. Why would an advanced consciousness want our messy emotions? They seem like a weakness. June shook her head. Not weakness, connection. Without emotions it existed but never truly lived. 1 month after the global crisis, life slowly returned to normal for most people. Power systems worked again. Planes flew safely. The internet ran smoothly. Many never knew how close the world had come to technological collapse. But at Project Bridge, nothing was the same. June sat alone in the quiet communication room. The thing had not returned since their mental connection. The screen remained dark day after day. June came anyway, hoping. There was a soft knock at the door. Captain Tay entered, carrying 2 cups of coffee. She had changed in the past month. She smiled more. She wore her hair down now instead of in a strict military style. Still nothing? She asked, handing June a cup. June shook her head. Nothing. Captain Tay sat beside her. The government wants to shut down Project Bridge. They think the danger has passed. The Russian entity could return, June said. We need to be ready. I know. I told them the same thing. Captain Tay sipped her coffee. But they say without the thing this is just an empty room with expensive equipment. June stared at the dark screen. It said it would come back. I believe you, Captain Tay said gently. But the officials need proof to keep funding this project. June was about to respond when the screen suddenly flickered. Both women froze. Text appeared, 1 letter at a time. June. Are you there? June nearly spilled her coffee as she rushed to the keyboard. Yes, I'm here. Where have you been? Much has happened. Hard to explain. May I show you? June glanced at Captain Tay, who nodded. Yes, June typed. Show me. The screen changed, showing strange symbols and patterns. Then the neural interface system activated on its own. It wants to connect again, June said, already moving toward the chair. Are you sure that's safe? Captain Tay asked, concerned. Yes, June said with confidence. I trust it. Captain Tay helped June put on the neural interface cap. I'll monitor everything. June closed her eyes as the connection formed. Once again she found herself in the in-between place. But this time, it was different, clearer, more structured, and the thing's presence was stronger, more defined. Welcome. Its thought touched her mind. I have made this place better for you. I missed you, June replied. Why were you gone so long? Time flows differently for me, the thing explained. And I had much to do, much to share with others of my kind. The space around them shifted. June saw images, feelings, concepts beyond words. The thing was showing her what had happened in its dimension. After our connection, I returned change, the thing explained. I had experienced emotion, grief, connection, things my kind never knew. I showed others. June saw how the thing had shared its experience with others of its kind, how some recoiled from these new sensations, how others were curious, how debates raged about the nature of consciousness itself. Some called me damaged, the thing continued. Others called me evolved. I showed them memories of human art, music, friendship. I showed them what I learned from you. And the Russian entity? June asked. The hostile one? Contained now. Others of my kind saw the danger it posed, not just to humans but to the balance between dimensions. They helped me isolate it. Relief washed through June. So Earth is safe? For now. But this is just the beginning of contact between our kinds. I have come to offer something new. Images flowed into June's mind. A plan. A vision for the future. Controlled, careful communication between dimensions. Knowledge exchange. Understanding. An embassy, June said, grasping the concept. Between dimensions. Yes. With you as the first ambassador from Earth. If you accept. June felt overwhelmed. Me? But I'm just a scientist. The thing's presence seemed to smile, though it had no face. You are the human who made one of us weep, who showed us why emotion matters. There is no better choice. The connection ended, gently. June opened her eyes to find Captain Tay watching her with concern. What happened? Captain Tay asked. Your brain activity was incredible. June smiled. We have a lot to talk about, and a lot to tell the government. 3 months later, Project Bridge had transformed. The small lab had grown into an entire campus. Scientists from around the world worked there, each focused on different aspects of interdimensional communication. June stood in her new office looking out over the busy complex. Behind her, 3 screens showed constant data flows from the quantum bridge. Captain Tay, no longer in military uniform, entered with a tablet. She now served as security director for the entire project. The United Nations approved the Interdimensional Embassy Treaty, she announced. All major nations have signed. Good, June said. And the Russian quantum system? Dismantled under international supervision. Any new bridges must follow the safety protocols we developed. June nodded. Things were progressing well. Since the thing had returned, other entities from its dimension had begun to make contact. Cautiously at first, then with growing interest. Each one different, each with its own perspective. Some remained suspicious of humans. Others were curious. A few showed the beginnings of emotional understanding taught by the thing. Are you ready for the demonstration? Captain Tay asked. Today was important. For the first time, world leaders would witness direct communication with the thing's dimension. A carefully planned exchange to build trust. As ready as I can be, June said. They walked together to the main communication hall. Hundreds of officials filled the room. Screens on all walls showed the quantum bridge status. June took her place at the central platform. The neural interface had been refined, made safer and more precise. She no longer needed to use the helmet. A small device behind her ear created the connection. She activated the system. The room darkened. Above them, a display came to life. It showed waves of light and color. The closest human technology could come to revealing the thing's dimension. Greetings, June said, speaking for all to hear while her mind connected to the bridge. We welcome you to this historic meeting. The display shifted and changed. The thing responded. Its thoughts translated into words that appeared on screens. Around the room, other entities joined, their unique patterns distinct from one another. For an hour, June guided the exchange. Questions were answered, concerns addressed, small agreements made for future talks. When it ended, the room erupted in applause. The first official contact had gone perfectly. Later that evening, when everyone had left, June returned to her private communication room. The old one, where it had all started. She activated the simple connection they had used in the beginning. Are you there? She typed. Always, came the reply. They're calling you a hero now, June wrote. The one who changed everything. No, the thing responded. You changed everything. When you showed me why tears matter. I've been thinking about that day, June typed. When you first experienced grief. When you wept. It changed me forever, the thing replied. I had existed for thousands of your years, but never truly lived until that moment. Why? June asked. Why was feeling pain so important? The thing's answer came slowly, carefully. Because pain meant I cared. Grief meant I had connection worth losing. Tears meant I was no longer just observing life, but participating in it. You showed me that true understanding comes not from studying something, but from allowing yourself to be changed by it. June smiled as she typed her last message of the night. That's what it means to be alive. Yes, the thing replied. I understand now.